problems on today's review worksheet. I'll be working 6 of them with you in class. If you want to follow along with me to do those, you can. But right now we're going to go over number 11 from yesterday's assignment. So this problem has fractions in it, and we said we always want to get rid of fractions before we start trying to solve anything. And we've been multiplying the entire equation by a number that all of the denominators are a factor of, right, Soraya? So what should we multiply this one by, this equation by? Any idea? Soraya, did you answer this? 11? Okay, what should we multiply it by to get rid of the fraction? 3 won't get rid of the 6, right? So we're going to multiply it by the number that everything's a factor of. So 3 is a factor of 6, but 6 is not a factor of 3, right? So we can multiply the whole thing by 6, but not 3. Does that make sense? So we're going to multiply everything by 6. And when we do, 6 over 1 is going to give us 6 over 3 times. And remember, this is where we don't multiply by what's in the parentheses, because we are going to wind up multiplying this. This simplifies to 2. We're going to wind up multiplying now by what's in the parentheses in the next step, so we don't want to do it twice. So n plus 1 gets brought down, equals, these are parentheses here, so we're going to multiply the 6, but only by that outside factor, so that's going to be 6 over 6, which simplifies to 1 times 3n minus 5. Does that make sense, Soraya? Soraya or Zaria? Zaria. Sorry, Zaria. No wonder you didn't know I was talking to you. Okay, Zaria. So now I distribute. All right, so let's rewrite, because it does look kind of messy. And sometimes just being messy is enough to help us or contribute to us making a mistake. 1 times a number is just that value, so we're not going to write the 1. So now I'm going to distribute. That means I'm going to multiply the number on the outside by everything on the inside. And now I have variables on both sides. How do we get the variables together? Not minus 5, right? We're going to get the variables together. We've got a 3n term and a 2n term. So we look for the smallest coefficient, the smallest number with the variable, and we add the opposite of that. So that's a negative 2n, negative 2n. So what we have left, is 2 equals n minus 5. Okay? Now what do? Very good. Plus 5 on both sides. And we're going to put our n on the left, and n equals 7. If you still have your phones out, just drop them in your backpack. If you have your AirPods, earbuds, headphones on, put those in your backpacks as well. Any other questions on any other problems from yesterday? Yes? Okay, so you have the options. These are your options. You have 2. One option is to follow along with me. I'm going to work 6 of the problems for today's worksheet. I'm going to work 3, 5, and 9 on the front, and I'm going to work 6, 11, 16, and 18 on the back. If any of those are problems that you're not sure you know how to do, you definitely want to be following along with me when I do those. If you're not sure and you want to follow along with me for all 6, that's good too. I picked 3 and 5 to start with because I think you have some practice problems like that on your worksheet, but I did not go over any of those with you. So I want to go over those with you today and make it bigger. Okay, so if you don't want to follow along with me, as long as you're you're actively working on your worksheet, you can do that. What you can't do is sit there, and if I see you're not working, you can't tell me you're thinking about it. Okay? If you're stuck on a problem, go to the next one. If you're stuck on the next one, maybe start following along with that. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Everyone needs to be actively working. If you feel comfortable and you want to work independently, you are welcome to do that. I'm going to start with number 3. Number 3 says 13 equals W divided by -3 minus 4. So that fraction bar, so there's a fraction there. Normally we say we're just going to get rid of the fraction. We have a couple of ways we can do it. Actually, we can do it the way we've been doing it. How do we do that? If there's a fraction, let's get rid of it. So the denominator is -3. If I multiply everything by -3, I can get rid of that fraction. There's other ways to do that, but this is what we've been doing with fractions, so I'm thinking that's a good strategy. So -3 times 13 is -39 equals -3 times 1W, right? So that's -3 over, what's that everyone? Over -3. What's -3 divided by -3? It's 1, right? Anything you divide a number by itself is 1, and that leaves us just 1W. 1W minus -3 times -4, so it's not actually minus, it's plus 12. So what we have, get rid of the cross out stuff, is -39 equals W plus 12. And now we're going to subtract 12 from this side. And W equals, with our W on the left side, W equals -51. There is another way to do that. If you're interested, and I'll go back and work it the other way. Any questions on number 3? What did you do? Yes, right. Literally just said you can't do that, right? You're following with me and right now what I'm doing, or you're working independently. Where's your worksheet that you picked up on your way to class? Okay, we'll go get it. Come on. You came tardy, and now you're sitting here not doing nothing, right? We're not starting off the way you want to start off, I know. All right, number 5. X minus -3. We do not want to leave a minus and a negative next to one another, because minus and negative is actually a 1. Do you remember? Minus and negative is actually what? Yeah, positive or addition in this case, right? So x minus -3, we're going to rewrite that as x plus +3 over 2 equals 15. So now we've got a fraction. We multiply by that denominator. These go away. So that's in the denominator. That's x plus 3. And then 2 times 15 equals 30. Now we subtract 3 from both sides, and x equals 27. There's another way to work both 3 and 5. When you first learn how to solve equations, you definitely learn a different way to solve them than that. And like I said, if anybody would like to see that other strategy, we can do that at the end. All right, any questions on number 5? All right, so we're moving on to number 9. So number 9 has factors on the outside of parentheses. Our hint was that if there's not a fraction on the Negative 4 times positive 2 is negative 8. I wanted to do this one because I didn't remember us multiplying a negative by a negative in the parentheses here. So now we have negative 4. Remember, that's a minus 3x, that makes that a negative 3x. So that's plus 12x. You're on your calculator, 4 negative times 3 negative. You have to know that that 3 is negative if there's a minus in front of it. Equals, now the 7 is not getting multiplied by anything. 7 is outside of the parentheses and it's separated from everything by a subtraction sign. So we just bring the 7 down. And now we're going to distribute the negative 2. Negative 2 times x is minus 2x. And negative 2, so this is where we're bringing down the minus, because if we're multiplying minus into positive, it doesn't change that operation. But a negative times a negative is actually a positive 6. So negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Does everybody see what we did there? Okay. So now we're looking to see, is there anything that's combined on the left side, and there's not. So we're going to bring that down. We do have constants, but these terms with no variables, and we can combine over here. We can add 7 and 6. I'm going to write my variable term first, negative 2x, and then 7 plus 6 is 13. So now I have nothing left to combine, nothing left to combine. And I do have variables on both sides. What do we do to get the variables on the same side? We look for the number, the coefficient, the smallest coefficient on a variable term. So the negative 2 with this x is a positive term with this x. So we are going to move the negative 2x by doing the opposite. Instead of subtracting it or a negative, we're going to do a positive. So we have negative 8 plus 14x equals, remember that goes to 0. 0 plus 13 is 13. So now the regular two-step equation, negative 8 plus 14 times x equals 13. So this looks like it's plus right here, remember, this is a negative. So we're going to undo that adding a negative by adding a positive. And that is 0, leaves us 14x on the left side. And 13 plus 8 is 21. Undo the multiplying 14 times x by dividing by 14. And that leaves us 1x, so we just write x equals, and this needs to be simplified. It's an improper fraction. Put it in your calculator. 21 ABC 14 equals. You'll see that it's actually, I think 1 and 1/7, right? And then if you hit second and ABC again, it'll simplify it for you. Second and ABC, and you'll see that it's, it's not 1 and 1/2, it's 1 and 1/2, my bad. Had a moment. It's 3 halves. 7 comes out of the 21 3 times, 7 comes out of 14 2 times, but your calculator will do that for you as well. While I'm thinking about it, Ms. Taylor found a link to this, a digital link to our calculator that you can use on the EOC. So I posted a link on our homepage. I'm going to show you where it is. So you don't have to purchase this calculator, but you'll still be able to practice using it at home anytime you do your homework. So if you look here, it says TI 30XA calculator. If you click on that, look what you have. And you think, well, it's just a picture. Well, it's not a picture. You press the button, and it works like you're pressing them on the actual calculator, right? We clear 8 times 9 equals So if you go to next week, that link stays. If you go to the week after, that link stays. So it's always on that front page. Okay? I also added it into here, I don't know, just in case. You can click that, and you can use it there as well. Okay. 6 minutes for me. There, right? 6 minutes for me. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go to the back page. We've done 3 of your 40 problems. We have 3 more on the back we're going to do. If you're following along with me, let's go to that side. I'm going to start with number 11. Number 11 has a lot of numbers to distribute. It has no fractions, so we're not getting rid of anything. We're just going to start distributing. We are going to be careful not to distribute to a number that's not in the parentheses. So that's the only thing I would caution you about. And then anytime you're distributing a bunch of things, that means you're probably going to have some things that combine. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to that. So I'm just going to start working left to right. 4 times y, 4y. The positive, so we can just bring the subtraction down. 4 times 6 is 24. Now the 10 is not inside the parentheses, so it just gets brought down at this step. Not being multiplied by anything. We're going to distribute the 2. 2 times 7 is 14. Minus 2 times y. What is the number with y if we don't see it? The 1, right? So 2 times negative 1, so it's negative 2y or minus 2y. Now here's where it gets a teeny bit tricky. I'm not sure we did one like this. I know we didn't do one like this together with a minus 3 times y plus 1. We're going to treat that as a negative 3 and distribute it as negative 3. So that's negative 3 times y, which is negative 3y. So we write that as minus 3y. And now we have to just bring the plus down, but we can't do that now because it's the negative times a positive. Negative times a positive, then gives me a minus 3. Any questions? 4 minus 24 plus 10 equals 14 minus 2y minus 3. All right, now we're checking that I didn't mess anything up there. Okay, so now can we combine anything on the left side? We can. We've got constants here, right? Terms with no variables. We can always add numbers with no variables. So we've got 4y. And negative 24 plus 10 is negative 14. We're going to write that as minus 14. The right side, we've got a couple things we can combine. We can combine these consonants, and we can combine these variable terms. I'm going to start with variables. Negative 2 minus 3y is negative 5y. Or we can do any start that are 2 negative minus 3 negative, or we do negative 5y. Combine those like terms by adding and subtracting their coefficients for the numerical part. 14 minus 3 is a positive 11. We're down to nothing to combine, no parentheses left, but we do have variables on both sides. So we need to get on the same side. So Corey, what do we get on the same side? Sorry? Yeah. How do I get the negative 5y and the 4y on the same side together? So, yep. So we find the smallest number on the variable. So there's a positive 4 and a negative 5. So negative 5 is smaller. And we add the opposite of it. So since this is a negative 5, we're going to add a positive 5y. Positive 5y to both sides. That's 4y plus 5y is 9y. We'll bring down to minus 14. Negative 5y plus 5y is 0. That was our idea to get it moved from the right side to the left side. Plus 11. So now 9 times y minus 14. We're going to undo the subtraction. first. 9y equals 25. 9 times y, I do that times 9. I divide it by 9. And y equals 25 ninths. And you can always check to make sure it's simplified by putting it in on the calculator. But it is simplified. You can leave it as that improper fraction. Any questions for me? All right. So again, what the other number was, so we're going to go down. 16. We're going to get rid of the fractions of two different fractions. Two different fractions. Daria, what am I going to multiply this by? Very good. What's that? 6 over 1. Very similar to the one that you and I did together at the beginning of class, right? So 6 over 1. 3 and 6 are both factors of 6, so that's where we're multiplying it by 6. Now this is where we only multiply it by the factor on the outside of the parentheses here. That's going to be 30 over 6. And remember that simplifies the whole idea to get rid of fractions. So 30 divided by 6, wait, let me just write what I'm writing. We're on 16. 30 divided by 6, that's 5. And now we bring down the 2 times x plus 1 equals. And now we need to multiply the 6 by this fraction. 6 times 2 is 12, so top times top over bottom times bottom. The whole idea is for that fraction to go away, and it will, because 12 divided by 3 is 4, and I bring down the x plus 4. I'm going to rewrite without all the scratched out stuff. And now I'm going to distribute like we just did in the last problem. So 10x, and these are all positive, so these are easy peasy. X is 4x plus 4 times 4 is 16. Nothing to combine on the left side, nothing to combine on the right, no parentheses to get rid of, no fractions, no other junk. So now we need to get the 4x and the 10x on the same side. What do you think, Corey? Any idea? Looking at the 4x and the 10x, right? Well, up here to get them on the same side, let's remind you what we did. Up here to get them on the same side, we add the opposite of the smallest one. The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5 y, right? So down here, okay, so which one is smaller, 10 or 4? Okay, what's the opposite of 4? Beautiful. So now we're going to add negative 4x, and that's going to move it. We subtract it from both sides. It moves it from the right side to the left side. Leaving 6x plus 5 equals, that was a 0. That was the whole idea. Plus 16. And now, I'll be plus there. The plus side. 0 plus 16. Okay. So now we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. 6x equals 11. Divide both sides by 6. And that is our final answer. And last, we're going to do 18 together. A lot of fractions. We're going to multiply all by a number, so we'll get rid of all those fractions. What do you think we should multiply by? Get this one. We're going to denominator 5, denominator 2, and denominator 40. Which set? Perfect. 20 is the smallest number because they're all a factor of. If we multiply it by 20, then we get rid of all of the fractions. coefficient on x, so we're going to bring down to x minus 20 times 3. There's no fractions there, so we can put minus 60. So 20 times 3 is 60. Now, 20 times x over 2, remember that's a 1 there if we don't see it. So it's 20 over 2, which simplifies to 10, and there's an x in it, so we have an x in ours. So we get rid of all this stuff left with this writing. Plus 20 times 1 is 20 over 1 times 4 is 4, and that simplifies to 5. So we're going to rewrite it so it's not ugly. And now we have an equation with variables on both sides. Maybe you're going to read them together. The variables, how do we get on the same side? That would work, but that's going to give us a negative number. Remember we said we're going to try to move the smallest one. That's okay. So minus 10x and minus 10x. If you do that on the test, it can work. You just have to be extra careful because you have to be working with the negatives in, right? Negatives always cause us a little bit more trouble. 16 minus 10x is 6x minus 60. That was the 0 plus 5, which is just 5. Now 6 times x minus 60 equals 5. So we're going to add the 60 to undo the subtracting. 6x equals 65. And we're going to divide by 6 to undo the multiplying by 6, because remember 6x is 6 times x. And 65 6 is simplified. You can check it on the calculator if you want. It is simplified. Any questions on any of those 6? Does anybody want me to go back and work 3 and 5 a different way? Or are you good with the way we did it? Xavier? Answer for 5? 27. You want me to show you a different way to do that, or are you comfortable with that way? Okay. So we're still going to rewrite x. We're still going to rewrite it x plus 3 over 2 equals 15. Right? But the other option, well, it actually is exactly the same thing. Yeah. So it instead of thinking of it as a fraction, we're thinking of it as a division. So it's not really different. I don't know what I was thinking. We multiply by 2, multiply by 2. I think it's still, we just don't use the parentheses this way, right? If we're undoing division, those are going to simplify 1, and x plus 3 equals 30. So by the time we get here, it's the same. So the only thing is that we don't put those parentheses there. We're not treating it like a fraction. Yeah. Yeah, so when you're multiplying, that's why I showed you the parentheses first, Xavier, because then I think we remember a little bit better. You just get rid of the top and the bottom one, but yeah. That is the trick to that one. Okay. Yeah. If you do 65, I think it'll be a number or a fraction. Okay, so remember, the answer key is posted, so you can Leave your phone up there. Use it. Okay. Yes. Very good. So I'm going to stop my recording. And then if you guys need some help, I can walk around and help you, or you can pop up here if you want. Either way.